This is the Artists Panel, and we have got a lot of very well-known, very talented, and just overall awesome artists here today. I'll let them all introduce themselves. It's going to be a pretty exciting lineup.
I'm gonna actually introduce myself first because I'm abusing my power. My name is Plaster. Obviously, you know that. You're probably wondering why I'm actually up here or wanna be up here for the Artists Panel. I got my DeviantArt page up here because I want to advertise it. I'm a colorist, so I try. I color some very popular stuff. So we're gonna actually introduce people that matter. We're gonna go down the line. Start here.
I'm Pixel Kitties. I do comics and art and stuff, and I have a DeviantArt page. Thank you.
My name is John Ozeko, and I draw a lot of ponies.
I'm Final Draft, and I made macaroni art when I was younger.
I'm Egophiliac, and I draw a lot of Wuna, I guess.
I'm Garrett Gilchrist, and I did some coloring books, if anyone even heard of those, and I do a lot of drawings, yeah.
And because I forgot, I'm Autumn Spice, and every now and again I do a little artwork. I don't really post it anywhere anymore, but yeah, I draw with the tablet.
All right. So yeah, no, all these guys are here basically because they're familiar. Everybody in this room should be familiar with everybody up here on this stage, well, especially me. But I just wanted to. I had a thing going on like a month ago that I was gonna say, and I completely forgot it because I didn't write it down. But we're gonna just basically jump right into it, and we're gonna do it. So I'm failing as a host right now, so please, if anybody wants to jump in and say something.
Well, you know, we could ask them the standard question. How did they become Brony?
Yeah, how did you all become bronies?
Yeah, how'd you find Brony?
You start. I start.
I find myself repeating this story several times over. It was back in February. There was a friend, and we were just chatting, right? And then she said, "You know what? Check this show out." And I'm like, "Okay, what is this show called?" He said, "My Little Pony." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Because the last time I've seen My Little Pony was the G1 series, and after that, never again, ever again. And she's like, "No, you gotta see this. This is really good." He's like, "Oh, he has this pony with rainbow hair, and animation's good." He's like, "Okay, it's a Sonic Rain Boom." So I thought, "Okay, I'll watch it." Watching it, right, and I'm like, "This is good," And after the first episode, I said, "Is there more?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's on YouTube. Serious?" I'm starting watching it all, out of order. I'm just watching it, and all of a sudden I'm like, "Geez, I think I want to draw a pony." Yeah.
And if I may add, he's been drawing like 5 ponies a day since then. Yeah. So.
At least, yeah, it's a conservative estimate.
Back in February, March, Dragon Age 2 was coming out, and I was all excited about it, right? So I'm hanging out on the BioWare forums a lot. And all of a sudden, everybody's avatar turned into ponies, My Little Ponies. And I couldn't figure out why, but it was making the moderators very angry. And so anything that was pissing people off that much, I thought, I need to get into this. So I started watching the show, and I was just amazed. I went to art school, and my teachers just hated anime. They hated, they pressed all these fundamentals of animation. And everything that they told me was so important to animation was being reflected in this show. And I loved it. It was beautiful and lush, and the stories were great, and the characters were fun. So I'm just like with anybody, I think once you get excited about something, you want to get involved and do something and give back. So I fired up the DeviantArt page I'd had for 4 years and never touched and just started making ponies. That's it. That's how it happened.
I have a really boring story. I'm sorry. Yeah, I've been into My Little Pony since G1, so it wasn't like anything new for me. The weird thing was I didn't know about the huge online adult fandom until I think after Call of the Cutie aired. So it was like halfway through the first season. So I missed out on a lot.
It's okay.
It was a dark and stormy night. I awoke with no memory of the previous 48 hours, and on my lips the faintest taste of cupcakes. I looked down, and my hands had become hooves. Yeah. Okay.
This is the artist section, not the fanfic writer section.
Sorry, no. I'm a filmmaker, in theory. I'm a very poverty-stricken filmmaker, but in theory a filmmaker. I belong to a British comedy forum, and they said, here, Lauren Faust, who I had heard of. I'm not a great fan of the Powerpuff Girls or anything. I never liked the drawing style. Too simple for me. I like ponies much better, but they said, Lauren Faust, who I had heard of, has made My Little Pony show that's actually good. And I clicked on it and I thought, this is quite interesting. I thought this is better structured than any film I've seen in a long time. I think as a screenwriter, you're told that conflict is character. And Twilight Sparkle had a flaw. She does not want to make friends. She does not want to deal with all this happy, marshmallowy pony bullshit. And I think as men, we identify. Even her hairstyle felt like a rebellious act. And I thought, this is kind of feminist and interesting, and the characters are better drawn than in any sitcom. But having watched it, I stopped halfway through the second episode and watched no further. But about like 3 months later, I realized that these ponies were still on my mind somehow, that something about the show had infected me to the core of my very soul. And so I sit before you today, a broken man and a very able-bodied pony.
They never leave.
That was, I'm just gonna say, that was the most epic bronification story I think I've ever heard. And I think that bears another round of applause.
Silly Final Draft, they're ponies, not bears.
Quick, somebody make a flash video of that.
What was that? What? I do have a question, actually. I'm going to be a host here. What were you guys drawing before you found ponies? This guy. He starts laughing.
Porn, 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 porn.
Before ponies, I've been drawing The Lounge, my webcomic The Lounge, and I used to draw pinups of women. Before, anime, video games, and, just humans, right? And then, you look in the gallery, all of a sudden, turns into ponies, and they're like, it just never turns back, sometimes. And people are complaining about that, and they're like, where's the girls? What happened to the girls? It's like, there's these looks like dogs or something like that, Yeah, that you usually get that, but now, you got a lot of people, and they love the ponies, so.
That happened to me too. I've tried drawing other things on the rare occasion that I do, dust off my tablet, which just goes to show how much it never gets used. But I'll dust off the tablet, plug it in, and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna draw this. Ponies.
I'm a game artist by trade, so before ponies, I was making gore-soaked textures for cannibalistic monsters. So
We've all been there. We've all been there.
There was a bit of a transition involved, but I took to it okay.
Pretty much the same stuff I draw now. It's just ponies kind of integrated themselves into it quite a bit. I did a lot of Toku fan art, Super Sentai and Kamen Rider. But yeah, everything's ponies now. Ponies everywhere.
Well, I was a filmmaker, and drawing wasn't something I took all that seriously. It was always just kind of a trick that I could do for many years. And the big thing was a Doctor Who project, because there are 108 missing. All right. There are 108 missing well, 106 now, they found 2, but 106 missing episodes of Doctor Who from the 60s, and I was going to animate all of them, because I'm ambitious like that. And I spent about 3 years on this project doing very realistic animations of Doctor Who characters, and it was real good practice for drawing people well, which is not good practice for ponies, but yeah, the Doctor Who fandom is very negative. None of them agree with each other, because that show's been on so long, and you know, I love the whole thing, but there are people who love completely different eras. Nobody gets along, everybody hates the show as it is now, and it's just so negative. And I could never sell it. I spent 3 years and I could never get anyone to help me with it. So yeah, it's kind of a thing that is no longer a thing. But yeah, ponies, I started doing a pony coloring book, and it was just tracing at first, and then it stopped being tracing after a while. And tracing was good practice, and it's very easy to let ponies infect every single nook and cranny of your entire life.
I have to ask a question about coloring books real quick while it's on my mind. If you were to color a coloring book, what is your preferred media? Craypaw, marker? Just curious.
Excuses. I color it with
Nice.
excuses for why it's not
I know
colored.
many people who do that.
Drafteer's a lot of those.
Tons of them.
Get to the technical questions here. A lot of people here want to be as good as the people up here, obviously. I do too, because I suck. So I'm going to ask them what they use. I'm going to ask you guys, what do you guys use? How long have you been drawing? And do you have any like tips, hints, or anything for people who want to get into it? It's open.
I started with going from monsters and horrible things and sci-fi stuff to cute cartoon ponies was kind of a jump. So I started with recolors and doing some tracings and things like that. And it's the best training you could possibly get because it's eye-to-hand training. You're still learning the curves and the shapes and the ratio from head to torso to hoof. So you're still picking up that stuff. You just don't have to focus so much on getting everything else right. So I'd say do that. I mean, don't be ashamed of it. As long as you're doing something original with it, just do that and try and put your own spin on it, and then take the training wheels off and start trying to do it yourself. That's about it.
Is there a particular, well, do you do most of your art analog or off a computer, or if you do use a computer, is there a particular program that you choose to use?
Everything I do is in Photoshop. I'm not a terribly good sketch artist. I posted some of them on Twitter and they're ugly. Yeah, I do everything in Photoshop on my computer with a mouse. I generally don't use a tablet. So yeah, I'm so painfully old school. Sorry.
Do you freehand it with a mouse?
Yes. Well,
unbelievable.
That's crazy.
Every pony I make, if you look at my art, every pony is essentially made from half circles. And that's pretty much what I do. I create circles, cut out a piece, and I build the pony up that way, which makes for a lot of layers, but it gives it a nice, clean style that I think mimics the show pretty nicely.
All right. I've been drawing all my life. I started with the seashells and submarines when I'm when I was in kindergarten, and then I just started drawing, because my dad was in the Navy, I just started drawing military ships, airplanes, all that, and then around 1990, I started drawing humans. And I just keep drawing, and up until 2007, I was drawing by hand, and then I got myself a Cintiq, and it's not different from drawing on paper, because you're still drawing on exactly on the screen or piece of material. But my advice is what every artist professional has told me is to practice and never give up. Because if you give up, you already failed. If you tell yourself, "Oh, this thing sucks," you already failed. You gotta learn to love your stuff. You learn to you see what's wrong. You have to realize what's wrong with your picture. You gotta study life. You gotta look at books. But yeah, the number one thing is to practice and never give up. Because I never give up. I always draw. I don't care what anybody says. Like if they say something bad, okay, I'll check it out. I'll see what the criticism is. But and I see other people, and they're like, "Oh, their art is so much better." But you know what? You gotta tell myself, I can get to that level, or I can surpass that level. That's what I tell myself all the time, and I self-motivate myself. So.
Quite good at self-motivation. Yes.
That's exactly why I'm here. I just why people tell me I'm so good, because I keep practicing. You just keep practicing and you'll get there. There's just no other way to do it.
And I think any fandom is a fandom to start, working with art and looking for a supportive community. It probably is this one. So yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, now this community is an awesome community. This is the first fandom I've ever been in, and you guys are like fantastic. So.
I've been drawing pretty much ever since I could hold a pencil. If I had to give some advice other than what they've already said, learn how to take critique. As JJ said, don't give up. There's a difference between an insult and someone just pointing out something that's wrong with a picture, and it's very, very important to be able to, hear someone say this is wrong without taking it as a personal attack, which doesn't mean let people be rude to you, but just be able to take that and learn from it.
I think that's one of the hardest things for an artist to learn, and one of the most important things, definitely.
Well, and so when you do your art, do you do it, by hand? Do you use a computer? What's your method?
I usually use a tablet. I just draw directly into the computer.
Always be learning. Always be learning. It's definitely. It's what John said. If you're an artist, you got to draw. You got to just draw over and over. As a filmmaker, I made a ton of really terrible films and gradually learned. And as an artist, you have to draw a million things. The art style of My Little Pony was completely foreign to me, and I think you have to step outside your comfort zone and also embrace what is inside it. My normal style is very human. It's very rough. It's very realistic, and My Little Pony is very digital and clean. And to this day, I made coloring books that were traced. One, because I didn't know how to do the characters, and two, because I knew that if I drew the characters, they wouldn't look all nice and vectory. They'd look like a coloring book. So I embraced my own kind of limitations, and subsequently had nightmares about how what you draw with a pen doesn't look clean and vectory. But I think Cal Payne's December Draw-Off, right? You all saw that the last week on Equestria Daily of Cal Payne's December Draw-Off had so much amazing art by so many amazing people. And if you look, these are all artists who I'm huge fans of, but you look at the art of these people in our community, it is incredible. And you kind of got to look like that and be like, oh, I can't compete with that, or you can just say, you know what, but there are things I can do and I can do well. And I'm going to have fun with it, and I'm going to do good work, because I think everyone on this panel You know, these are great pony artists, but I bet you they look at some of that art and they're like, well, I couldn't do that exactly. You know, like, and I feel the same when I look at their work. So you roll with what you can do, yeah. Believe in, yeah.
Yeah, we are just as insecure as everyone else.
Well, I have a question that probably has an obvious answer, but what I wanted to ask was, did you find that pony as a subject matter was particularly inspiring to push your art into a new direction? I mean, there are a lot of different fandoms, there are a lot of different styles that develop around them, but at least from my observations, especially watching that draw-off, you know, it seems to me that the content, just the quality of the show, has actually pushed people to take their art and really develop their style, really put it out there. Would you agree with that, or in your case, or?
It's hard to draw with hooves, I will say. Well, it was a completely different style. I mean, I'd never done anything rounded and clean and digital. I mean, I still look, you know, I do everything just with a pen on paper or with paints, and it's something to get used to, definitely. But stepping outside your comfort zone, I think, is a good thing, and understanding how these things are constructed. Because construction was always my bad thing. I think a lot of artists today are self-taught, and I think we learn things ass backwards. I think we learn how to do really complex details, but we don't learn how to draw a circle. And ponies, if nothing else, they teach you how to draw a circle and how to teach you what's underneath it, and that's important. Like, to be able to animate, I'm also an animation restorationist. If anyone's heard of the film The Thief and the Cobbler, we're working on a new version. Thank you. New version, Thief and the Cobbler, on the internet. This year, April, I think, it's going to be wonderful. But I envy animators, because I'm not an animator, because I'm not good at construction. Simple shapes that can move, that's actually a very complicated thing. So it's a good thing to learn. Simple is a good thing to learn.
Well, the question was kind of to the entire panel. I mean, did you guys find that your art style, not just the content matter, but the art style itself changed because of Pony?
Well, absolutely. Pony was like nothing I'd really done before. I'd spent a lot of time focusing on life drawing and trying to mimic reality so much, and trying to reflect that in games, and trying to bring as much realism and craftsmanship, you know, to 3D models, to concept art, whatever the case may be. And Pony's totally different. Now we're talking about something completely cartoon, but at the same time with this beautiful attention to detail and color theory and all these things that still apply. But it was sort of like learning to draw all over again, at least for me. I had to approach it in sort of a workmanlike manner, like Garrett was saying, breaking it down into components and building the ponies more than drawing them. Now, when it comes to subject matter, I think it works a little bit in the opposite direction. With the ponies, I use these cute cartoon ponies and try and tell some of the same stories and subjects I'm already interested in, like pairing Derpy with RoboCop, or parroting Cannibal Holocaust with ponies. I'm taking stuff I'm already interested in, applying the pony template, and it's this new, bizarre, beautiful concoction that somehow works. They're a great blank slate for almost anything you can come up with. And I think that's one of the reasons it attracts so many artists. We all can bring things we already love to the table and bring it to life through ponies. So I think it's neat.
When it comes to ponies, I had to completely change the way I draw them, because I've been drawing humans so much that before I never drew animals, and so I had to go and get an animal book just so I could study how they do. And of course, the ponies in the cartoon do not follow the rules of real animals, but it still helps. And it's funny that the art style, when I go back to drawing humans, I find myself drawing the rainbow dash eyes on my humans now. I'm like, and then it's like, oh, geez, you know, yeah, it just somehow.
I found those ponies.
Yeah, you know.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. All right. So.
I wish the feeling was mutual, Pastor.
I'm sorry. I'm just.
I got nothing but love. Got nothing but.
Just want to double check. How much time we got left? 10 minutes? Okay. See, we got about time for about maybe 2 to 3 questions at most. So if somebody has a question.
The guys on the live stream want to know where Garrett's website is.
Oh, okay. The guys on the live stream want to know, Garrett, where your website is.
Me?
Yes.
Orangecow.org. Yeah, and we got.
Oh, actually, to continue on that line for everybody here. If you are for people who may not be familiar with these people up in this panel, could you guys go off and basically just say why we should know you?
I think they know.
Kind of I mean,
No, I think that's covered.
They got it. They got it.
Maybe, no, I mean with
well, I think maybe
projects and stuff.
Maybe they can mention their websites real quick so that they know.
Advertise their stuff, projects and Tumblrs and all that other sort of thing.
How about why they shouldn't know? John, what's your dirtiest secret? How do you draw so much pony?
You know what the trick is, though?
What drugs are you on? Because I wake up.
The trick is
how
that
do you
he
draw?
has no dirty secrets. He's posted them all.
Oh.
And they're beautiful. No, you know what?
Don't
If you guys
worry
have a
about
website,
such
real quick, you
things.
just mentioned yours. What was it again?
I have no idea.
It's okay. All right. And if you have a website that people can visit, or if DeviantArt or something that people can visit online, yeah, just announce it to
Do you want to announce the Wuna Stuck as well, or?
Wuna
Stuck. Wuna Stuck.
Yeah.
Say it to them.
Yeah, you go for it.
Luna stuck.
All right.
Everybody's on DeviantArt. You should know these people.
Well,
Are you kidding me?
Everybody's going to Tumblr too.
Maybe not
John,
me. But
I know
you should
that John
these
Joseko has his own. Is it a Tumblr?
You got a Tumblr. You got a couple of them, don't you?
You got all sorts of stuff, don't you?
We should
It's
probably
Joseko, isn't
leave
it?
it
I
at
said it
that.
wrong, didn't I? Sorry about that. Yeah. So you got a Tumblr. You got DeviantArt. Do you?
Yeah, I got a DVR.
Where do people go to find
You
you?
just can find me.
BronyShow.net.
You can find me at John and Joseko. Geez, I said my own name wrong. Joseko at DVR.com.
Love Tomorrow Love Tumblr.
These guys are pretty much responsible for 90% of the art memes that we see in the fan base. So I just
And
wanted
that's
to.
just John.
All right, we got one more question from.
Yeah. Okay. We've just got a couple minutes left. Real quick, is there anywhere that you want people to look for you online, or any websites you'd like to? Direct
It's
them
simple.
To?
Just pixelkitties.deviantart.com or just Google Pixel Kitties, Kitties, and that's it.
Okay. So as fast as
Gummy
I can,
Classic Cola in every store.
As fast as we can, I just want a quick question. Do you guys have any upcoming projects you'd like us to know about? And if not, why?
I pretty much do everything week to week, so I don't really have anything specifically upcoming. I made a comic specifically for the convention, and I'm selling that, and I'm going to upload a smaller version on DeviantArt, so I guess that's the only thing in my future immediately.
Sorry?
The poster? Well, we can.
Oh, that's right, I did the poster for BroNYCon. Forgot about that.
Will you guys draw my OC?
That-
Please.
A future project I'm gonna do is I want to do a fantasy comic somewhere down the road, like this year, and I want to put it online and try to make it a graphic novel. And one of the other projects I tend to finish is North Star Dwells. Yes. Yeah. I am definitely gonna finish that one. It's just like a couple of pages. It just takes long.
Well, I don't really have anything new right now because Moonstuck has kind of taken over my life. But if you read that, it is going to get very interesting very soon.
The trolls.
I can't say. There will be more characters showing up.
Oh wait, that's a good one.
I'm working on a comic called The Chosen Ones. I'm up to page 70. Thief and the Cobbler Recobbled Cut Mark IV coming April for fans. Shamelessly She-Hulk is a feature film which I'm still working on. We're on one of the. There's an official Spider-Man 3 DVD that I'm on for like a second, but yeah, there's She-Hulk, the comic book character, and in theory, I'm supposed to be writing a novel and a screenplay and lots of other bullshit that I have no time to do. But yeah, and there was a poster which we can't talk about. I'm probably just not going to do any of that and just draw ponies a lot.
All right.
Well, I think we are out of. We got maybe 1 minute.
So
he's waving. How much time do we have? No, we got to 2:15. Sorry, 2:15. Okay, he's been waving his hand. If you can ask it real quick. Oh, good Lord.
No favorite pony. No.
That question's been answered several times.
I think we already know the answer for a couple of these guys anyways.
I don't think that I need to repeat my response.
So I think we're going to take this opportunity to wrap this up, and I wanted to thank these guys for being here and for doing what they do, because without them, I highly doubt the art scene will be as popular and awesome as it is now.